Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? I saw on the news this morning it's National Puppy Day. So if you have got a dog at home, well, you got to do what you do every day, but times 10 because it's their special day. So let's see who's in here. Tracy, good morning. Jules, good morning. Big T, good morning. Uli Girl, good morning. That was a tongue twister for me. Wolfcat, hello. Fruit Loop. There's our friend Shannon. Preschool Granny, Sonia. Alexandra Baker, how are you? Sonia, good morning. Fairy Dust Diaries. What a cool name. Well, hello, Fairy Dust. Hello. Hope everyone is doing well. Newfie Unicorn, hi. Hi. I see some new names. While everyone's getting settled in, go ahead, give the video a like. And make sure you sub and hit that reminder. Hit it for all. That way, every time we go live, you are told. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Just Me. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Is anybody in the New Orleans area? Anyone? Anyone? Because the tornado that came through there last night was horrific. Hello, Rita. How are you? Hi, Lisa. It hurt my ears. Yeah, we're going to keep it to a minimum, Lisa. We're going to keep it to a minimum. Hi, Aggie. How's it going, girlfriend? So if I miss you, I apologize. I will catch you in the comments because you guys say the coolest things like Sergeant Friday. Always love it. TL, love it. Kayla, love it. Fun to ski. Hello. Mustang. Hello. So we made it halfway through the week, believe it or not. Don't know. Love you too, Emma. We only have a couple of more days to get through to the weekend. That is for sure. Hello, Joanne from Australia. We have to make a note for Jen F. halfway through the show, not because she's not interested, but because she's in a different time zone, in a different continent. We have to say, wake up, Jen. Hey, Dr. Clark. Common Sense True Crime. What a cool name. Nost It Poets. Where you been? Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, let everybody get your coffee, get your bagel, your donut, whatever, and we will start getting going. So, yeah, prayers to anyone. If you didn't see on your local news, there it is. That was what was encompassing the Big Easy last night. I could not believe it. Beautiful town, love the vibe. They're no strangers to disaster, as we know. Hurricanes, I mean, you know, the one that pops in our head is always Katrina, and that's what they were dealing with last night. It's not good. Tornadoes are never fun. I've been through a couple in my life, and yeah, it's really big, really bad. So if you're in that area affected by this at all, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. Yeah, huge. Did you see that, Tamara? Wolfcat said, Brooks, with a question mark. What's wrong? Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? I don't know what Wolfcat is asking me. All right. So yesterday was a great show. Loved having Crime and Justice up. Great lady. I wasn't really sure if we were going to talk about this or not. You know, Candace has been friends with Benny, another creator, for quite some time. It appeared on the outside he was a Wells supporter. I'm not, you know, but we each have a different style and a different take, and we see different things on a case. The only reason I'm even talking about these phone calls that he has released is because of what could be potential evidence. So before I get to that, I'm going to go through comments from yesterday. Hang on. Okay, so yesterday's show, we were discussing JLR's great interview with Allie and family. It was Allie, Grandbun, who is a rock star, and Sherry. So this is a lot of your feedback I got yesterday. Robin said, sounds like a swingers club with this group of attractive people. Must have been popular in that county. Now, I don't think the county's down with that. I just think it's their circle. Because let's think about this. Jose is introduced to Candace. She is of the mindset that Allie is interested in him and they might have something going on. But next thing you know, both Candace and Grandis are after him too. The dysfunction and no boundaries runs deep. You know, you can't get any more inappropriate than what they do. Candace and Dawn and Grandis have got some serious antisocial behaviors. Kathy said, Brooks, your volume is going way up and going way back down. The only reason I'm bringing this comment up is because if you guys have a problem with the volume, if there's an echo or something, just say something so I can fix it really quick. Robin, again, she said, these characters in this show have normalized dysfunction, i.e., SA, grooming the children, drinking, drug taking. I feel all the children were involved, as were the adults. The children are the victims. And I love that statement. I don't love it, but let me put it this way. I like how she coined it. They have normalized dysfunction. That's the reason they're so disassociated. This isn't any shock and awe, if you know what I mean. They're not shocked. They're not what's the word? They're not as upset, maybe put it this way, as you and I would be. Okay. Bobby Cat says, I am sticking to my very first statement made back in June. This will be bigger and worse than anyone can imagine and heartbreaking as well. I couldn't agree more. Now, our hearts are already broken, okay? But TBI has a very good record. They really do. They resolve cases fast. And for this to not have been solved yet, it says a lot. Now, I started following TBI during the Evelyn Boswell case. Her mom is going on trial, I believe, in September. And so, I mean, I never unfollowed them. So, I mean, I can see that, you know, they have an Amber Alert one day, and like within days, they have it solved. So for this to not be solved and no resolution, there's something else going on. Something bad going on. Sarah W. said, what bothers me the most is how many people knew of the abuse and neglect that was happening. Eyewitnesses. You're right, eyewitnesses. And there was hardly any proof a single one of them tried to do anything about it. Yes, the parents are a major part of the problem, but so are the people who stood by and did nothing. So I think we can all agree with that. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, right? That kind of goes without saying. All right, so back to the dysfunction is normal. I had many comments. I saw them in chat yesterday. They were left on the channel, emails, and even some Facebook messages saying, Brooks. Sherry did not call CPS. Sherry would not have called the police because she is a child abuser too. She's been in trouble for it. I didn't want to say anything on the channel yesterday. Not that anyone's lying to me. I just wanted to see it for myself. So as always, you guys provide the receipts. Okay, there's Sherry. There she is. This is public record, guys. This isn't anything under the table. She's got a shirt on that says New Grandma. New Grandma. Kind of reminds you of Mom Patrol, does it not? Okay, so we have New Grandma, and then there's the charges. It is child abuse, neglect, child over 8 years old. So I think that explains a little bit, I sound like Robin, just a little bit, of why she wasn't as up in arms as the rest of us would be. Kind of makes sense. New Grandma. New Grandma. Jules, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Yeah, that blew my mind. I'm not going to lie. But then I go back to what one of the comments said, that they've normalized the dysfunction. They have normalized the dysfunction. Teddy, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Is YouTube having problems or something? Because I see a few people saying that the show hasn't started yet, and I'm live. Let's bring up Double Trouble from Canada and see if they can hear everything on their end. Are you guys able to hear on your end?
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
I can.
All clear here.
Okay, a lot of people are saying that they can hear it. Okay, good. So how are you ladies this morning? Pat and Deb, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks.
Very good. Very good. What do you think about that tornado, that picture I put up?
That's very scary. For me, it is.
Yeah.
We're not used to tornadoes.
Yeah. No, new grandma's pretty damn scary too. New grandma's pretty scary too, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she has been since we saw her in the JLR interview. So
I had no idea that she had her own problems, though. I had no idea.
Okay,
I wonder how many of them.
I don't know what's going on. Some people are saying there's no sound. They're saying, I don't know what's going on. They're saying there's no sound. I don't know what to do.
They should go out and come back in.
Oh, maybe try that, yeah.
KJ3 said refreshed 4 times, still nothing. Rebecca said weird beginning. I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I don't know.
I'd get right out of it, the people that are having problems, and go back in.
I would have to end the broadcast and
restart
reschedule
again.
the show. Okay, well, most people are saying that they're getting it. Okay, Lisa said it just came back on. Okay, so it's just going to be touch and go.
Okay.
Okay, Emma just messaged me. She said, don't end. It's fine. Okay. It could be the storms. I don't know. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I never know when we're live because like it shows 0 in chat and there's obviously people in chat. So I don't know what's going on. It's not on this end. A lot of people are saying don't restart. Okay, well, we'll just get through this. And if you catch it on the replay, you do. Update your YouTube people. There's an update this morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, Emma said it's perfect on her end. Okay, good. All right. So what I was saying earlier is that I wasn't really going to talk about this too much because, you know, what other channels have going on, you know, their fights and who they interview and stuff like that. I just don't really get into it too much. It just breeds drama and stuff like that. But I'm very intrigued about this phone. Okay. I'm very intrigued about this phone. Now, let me ask everybody in the chat. Now, I took a poll this morning on the channel. Do you think this phone is important? Deb?
Yes, I do. Very important.
I do too.
I think it should be turned in ASAP.
Well, it's very interesting. I have to say that. I would like to know when Donnie got this phone. Was this after Summer disappeared?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Tim Mullins said.
Yeah, Tim said after she disappeared. But see, we go back to the McDonough interview where Candace said she slipped to Chris about that there was another phone and kind of alluded to it hadn't been turned over.
And that interview was 3 weeks after Summer, wasn't it?
Well, it was about a month later, about a month and a half. It was at the end of July.
Okay.
Hmm. Well, she said, because Don did say that he got it back, but there was missing information on it.
That was another phone, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what I'm gathering is his original, the phone that they took on the 15th. Okay. The TBI has that. He must have had another phone. Am I saying, is that right? But Tim got it after he went to jail. He downloaded some content from it, which why, I don't know. It's
mm,
Don's phone. And now, according to Candace, she has it.
well, she flipped. She flipped mid conversation, but whatever. Yeah, she does have it now. Yes, that's what she said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, also what I want to know is, I mean, just if there's something on there that's going to help your missing daughter, it could be the smallest of things, and you want to throw Dawn under the bus anyway, take it to the authorities.
Okay, Brooks. There's people in Discord saying there's a problem with the lives.
Well, I've got a lot of people in here saying that they reloaded and it's fine.
There's okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. So, like I said, some people are like, I don't know. Some people are like, yeah, I think it's important. Some people don't think the phone exists. Now, it's not like that didn't cross my mind because Candace has pulled pranks before. But would Tim go along with it and cause this much drama? I don't know the man.
I don't know him either. I really don't. I know like nothing about him except for what I heard. And you know, like Pat, you can give your take on Tim. You could barely hear or make out what he was saying.
Yeah, it was very hard for me. I don't know if he has an accent or not, but it was very hard for me to understand what he was saying. I was pretty well going by the other person's questions.
He didn't really seem to be I'm trying to think of the word. He just seemed to be very chill in his answers. I heard something where he said that he's going to remain neutral. I don't dig that behavior. I don't dig that. You have a missing little girl. This isn't the time to play Switzerland.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's like, well, you know, he's the media manager and everything. But I mean, yeah, he's like, well, you know, he just asked me to download things, so I did. It's like, well, an intelligent, grown person would say, well, he's asking me to download stuff. It's probably not good stuff, you know? And they would turn it in. But apparently, then now he gave it to Candace, and Candace won't. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to go into her husband's phone. She doesn't want to hand it into the TBI. And there could be important information on there. This is after Summer went missing.
Yeah, I don't quite understand why she wouldn't be giving it to them. I can't quite put my finger on that part because she seems to have said so many other things that would put her on the opposite side of the fence from her husband. So why not just hand the phone in and say, here you go. And you're right. If it can help find Summer, that's all we want. So
Exactly.
hand it in.
That's exactly what I'm saying, but she's not going to hand it in. She doesn't want to find Summer, even if it means throwing Dawn under the bus because she knows her involvement. So what I'm gathering is these phone calls started early in March and the recording started. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I got from the first phone call, so I'm assuming the first phone call was with Candace.
No, it was with Tim.
Okay.
Well,
so
that's
Tim was the first phone call, or that's the first one that Benny put out.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the first one that Benny put out.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm looking at with the one with Candace, first thing I want to address, not being funny or anything, what is this about a 14-day rehab? And did I hear this correct? She's doing it at home?
I didn't hear that.
Okay.
I barely heard her talk about it. I did hear, I thought she said a non-alcoholic place or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
that couldn't be her home then.
she was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was crying, saying she had to go into this 14-day rehab to Benny, and yeah, while he's rushing and whatever. Anyways, go ahead. I'll pass on that comment. Take the fifth.
Yeah. Okay, so 14-day rehab isn't going to work. 14-day rehab isn't going to work. Not for her. She has had these behaviors since way before Summer went missing. She's been left to her own devices. So, I mean, it's her addiction, her habit. That's not something that's going to be taken care of in 2 weeks.
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
And
not going to.
why would she think it would help that much? Like maybe other people she knows have dried out for 2 weeks and maybe got their kids back, but I think this is a whole other situation. This is sort of unique.
Well, I think what she said makes sense because she mentioned something about a certificate.
I heard that. What's that about?
Something about a certificate to give CPS.
Yeah, to get our boys back.
To get her boys back. I would think it would take more than 14 days.
Okay,
and why are they requiring that? Because they've seen her on YouTube, or did she give a positive, did she piss hot?
Oh, I forgot about those tests.
Well, that's it, and the thing is it's a disease, and you don't like after maybe I don't think 14 days maybe the regular everyday person who drinks a couple of beers a night, but I don't see like someone drinking out of R&R out of a Mickey is going to get anything out of a 14-day dry up.
14 days isn't going to do it. It takes at least 90 days to change your brain, to change a habit. It's like when we go to work, we're a brand new employee. You're on a 90-day probation. That's a good run to see how people are going to do. And most of these rehabs for success are 90 days. Then they tell you to go to meetings. I watch that show Intervention quite a bit. And they say you have to get a sponsor, and they call it a 90 and 90. A 90 and 90. They want them to do 90 meetings, AA meetings in 90 days. So that will give them 6 months. But she's saying 14 days. Her problem is beyond 14 days.
The thing is most of these people do go to AA meetings, and then when they get out, they go to the bar across the street.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I hope not. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been in recovery. If anyone in here is in recovery, hats off to you. It's got to be the hardest thing ever. Those people in AA, from what I understand, they hold each other very accountable. So if somebody left AA and went to the bar, they'd have people at their house. They really, especially with a sponsor, try to keep them in check as much as possible. I just think it's going to be very, very hard, even with this certificate for 14 days, for her to get the boys back. I'm not seeing it.
Well,
maybe you're right. Sorry.
No, go, Pat.
I was going to say maybe you're right, Deb, and maybe the certificate is for a clean test. Maybe that's what she's thinking is going to help her case. A 14-day clean, wait 14 days if she doesn't have any drugs, then have a test. If it's, negative, then she feels CPS would love that.
I think CPS needs more than that. Somebody has put this in her head. She mentioned CPS that she's got to go to a rehab. The 14 days makes no sense to me.
No.
Mm-mm.
Isn't that like a dry out?
Well, I mean, you can get dried out in 2 days, really, but you're going to go right back to doing what you were doing. But as far as real recovery, 14 days, I mean, it might be a good run and start for her, but she goes back to the house by herself. She's back in the whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I pray that she doesn't get those boys back. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, and I think the boys are just better off right now.
Definitely. Well, until maybe we find out what happened with Summer, at least.
That's what I think. That I think they're going to keep pushing her off and pushing her off, and they're going to give her one hurdle after another until there's some resolution with Summer. They cannot put those boys back in an environment where either her, Dawn, Grandis, all three, one, two, both, whatever, are responsible for Summer's disappearance. Susan, thank you for the super sticker. Are we looking for a live Summer? I think they kind of made that clear to us when they started calling it a recovery instead of a search and rescue back in June.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. Although we don't know if she is alive, what she's gone through, so maybe it wouldn't be nice. But yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I sort of, when they started saying recovery, I sort of thought, okay, well, they're presuming with all their experience that she has passed.
Mm-hmm. Which is sad, terrible. 5 years of life is nothing.
Super sad.
Yeah.
Emma said they were giving the kids booze too, though. So it's been said, and if the boys have admitted it, they just won't get them back. If the boys admit what was said in JLR's interview yesterday, I would think there would be a hearing, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. That stuff is slow, to terminate her parental rights, considering she is failing left and right. She cannot turn a corner and do the right thing. She just can't.
Mm-mm.
She
No.
keeps going down that road. So
Yep.
I am not an addiction counselor. I know nothing about that. So if I've said the wrong thing, you guys tell me. I don't know about that stuff. Just like I said, what I've seen on TV, the 14 days makes no sense to me. Another thing that does not make sense to me is this, that Don can't call her anymore because he has no money on his account. Last I heard, he had so much money on his account, they couldn't take any more. So have we been lied to again? Not that I care about Don getting an ice cream sandwich or beefaroni on Friday. Or has he used up all that money calling her all the time?
Yeah, she did say that with Benny, and something about, he said, or sorry, I didn't want to mention other people's names. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's his content. He's the one. I'm going to link it all in the bio.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a different channel. It's not his regular channel. And this isn't even about, his thoughts on the case or anything like that. I mean, this is him talking to a suspect. So go ahead, Pat. Sorry.
Well, they did mention, I heard them mention about $300. And has he gone through that already? Like, I have no idea about, how much things cost when you're in jail.
Well, like Emma said, at $16 a call, and we know how he likes to talk. I think he's only got an hour a day to make these calls. And he's calling her all the time. I mean, he could have gone through that pretty fast, and it looks like people aren't sending more money.
Right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she talk to him? Well, I was sort of wondering, why wouldn't you talk to him then?
Because she loves him, but she's not in love with him anymore. She did mention, it was hard for me to make out a lot of what was being said. I don't know why, but she did say something that she is ready for a divorce, and that she was told that she would have a better chance of getting the boys back if she wasn't with Dawn at all.
Yeah.
I don't know that they actually give out advice like that.
I don't know, but that is what she said. Although, she didn't sound like we do. Let's say this morning, she sounded like she'd had a few.
And he even mentioned that when he talked to him. He said she's going to drink whiskey all day, and he's basically not going to get the truth out of her.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. He's all of a sudden he's getting a guilty conscience. I don't know. I don't want to be mean to Benny, but
no, something tripped him out or pissed him off. Because this is different than what we've been seeing. He's mad. He's pissed.
Well, what do you think that is? What do you think that is, Brooks?
Well, we're going to get to one of the phone calls where he's obviously calling it out.
Okay.
And I'm with Jules. Don't enable these people. Don't send them money. Let me show you what happens when you send them money. Okay, guys, bear with me.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Deb left us. All right, this is not to be funny or anything. Doug made this. He emailed it. He said share this. This is what happens when you send her money, okay? This is what she's been doing, okay? As we know.
Life may not always go way. Wow. You might have days now. Never be lonely. Everything run to me, and I'll leave the world, and I come down. You won't ever be lonely. There will always be a place you belong. Yeah, beside me.
Sounds just like it.
And so you lonely now. Never be lonely. Oh, it's still rain and blow. Cold winter day, you now.
Okay, I believe that's his dog's reaction, her serenading us. But as
Oh,
she started getting money in, stuff was really going off the rails. Because she's, like I said, she's got money. She's left to her own devices. And she's just drinking. She's just drinking. Now, she said she was sober for 3 weeks. Then she said it was 2. Then she's like, I wish I could get off the whiskey. But that's just not something someone can do when they have a disease. Lindsay says CPS absolutely gives out advice like that. They will often tell a parent they can only get kids back if they leave the spouse, often in abusive relationships or addiction. Okay, I did not know that. I did not know that. Yeah, it should be illegal for her to sing. I agree. I agree. That's a little much for me. That is a little much for me. Okay, so from the first phone call too, I kept hearing the name Chris. I just assumed they were talking about Chris McDonough. So it's actually some PI, that there's a PI involved. Well, this PI obviously is not very good because your suspect is who you're talking to.
yeah, and you got to wonder, these extra people that are coming into the scenario, like, really, what's their, I don't know. That's why I don't really listen to them. I didn't even know there was another Chris involved besides McDonough until I listened to the tapes in the past couple days.
And you've listened to all of them, right, Pat? And so have you, Deb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I did.
Yeah. But I mean, it was important information. I mean, yeah.
Well, definitely when, they were talking about this new phone. So it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be a big production. Just get the phone and take it to the police. Do the police even know about the phone? Because it sounds like at one point they said only Tim, this PI Chris, Benny, and Candace knew about the phone. I'm sure her grandmother did, or the grandest did as well. But so does TBI know about this phone?
Phone calls have been made to TBI about the phone.
Okay. So wouldn't you think that they would go and ask for it in the next day or two? Like walk up,
If it's something that he bought after she disappeared, which is how I'm taking it. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I don't like that information out. Then they would have to have a reason to get it. They'd have to have a warrant. But for some reason, he made sure that he didn't just leave it at home when he went to court. You can't take a cell phone into the courthouse anyway. They make you lock your stuff up before you go into the courtroom. So
Okay.
I don't care if you're fighting over a real estate title or whatever. It's not just criminal, civil, any of it. The cell phone gets locked up. At least where I live, it could be different there. But supposedly he gives the phone to Tim. Now Candace says she has it. But he also took stuff off the phone.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, then he would know if any of it pertained to Summer, the person that took it off the phone. So, I mean, you can't sit on information like that.
No, you can't. And if the way
No.
it looks is what is really going on, that there could be something on this phone, conversations between Don and Candace or Don and whoever, that could give the authorities some inkling of what's going on, where she is, and he is tampering with that. Tim, you could be in big trouble. Supposedly you met these people at the parade. That's what I've been hearing. I don't know. And through the course of things, you get in their circle, you implant yourself into a horrific situation. I believe it was July 22nd on Facebook. I have the screenshot, but he's taken it down since. Tim posted a picture of Summer, and he's talking about, Summer's missing and all that stuff. And he mentions in there, accidents do happen. But now he's telling everyone else he's going to stay neutral. That's not neutral. If an accident happened, and this would have been discovered. Okay,
Yeah,
Ferry Dell said
something.
nothing was taken off the phone. He backed up the information as all he did. Well, the police would have done that for him. He did not have to involve himself with what could be potential evidence.
Yeah. If a suspect asked me to download everything from the phone, if he was asked, this Tim guy, I'd say, no, thank you. I'm not getting involved.
Because they're suspects. Lawson has said over and over, everyone's a suspect. Everyone's a suspect. That doesn't literally mean everyone. Pat, you're not. I'm not.
Yeah.
Deb's
Yeah.
not. He's talking about the main characters, the ones that were around her that day, the ones
Okay.
in the house. So tell me why he would take the phone from a suspect, back it up or whatever he did, and not just, you're already there. I mean, you're in the area. Just take it to the sheriff's office. Jules, thank you. She said, coming from an ex-addict, my hat's off to you, my friend. My hat's off. Please do not enable them. Good for you. Everybody, round of applause for Jules. 10 years clean now, she said, and she hasn't looked back. Thank you, Jules.
Way to go, Jules.
Way to go. Bobby Cat, thank you, Brooks. I enjoyed watching Crime and Justice on your show. I really appreciate you talking about the petition. It's so urgent. The system is fixed. Thank you, Bobby Cat. By the way, I love your comments. I don't know if you were in this morning when I brought your comment up from yesterday. Cindy said he's involved. I don't know. So then you guys will have to help me here. I don't know what this is. Supposedly, Benny put cameras in. Tim has since taken them down or has control over them. I don't know. Can someone help me with that?
Well, that's what was talked about. And, I didn't really, at first, because I don't trust really anything anybody says. I wondered, like Benny said, he set it up on his phone and then he transferred it to Candace's phone. So I guess I was wondering, or maybe this Tim guy supposedly unhooked them. Okay. So why did he unhook them? Candace is up there alone. I'd want cameras, I guess. But did he unhook them because now he's saying someone else has access to them? Is that what he's portraying there?
Supposedly he's in control of them now. Why would he? If he's your media manager, which you suck at, by the way, you suck at that. Why are you now the security guard?
Yeah.
Susan said she unhooked him. That's the reason, since this started, every sentence starts with a big question mark. It's like, before we get into it, can we even believe this?
Definitely. That's what I keep asking myself when I hear it. I think, is that true? Is it not true? What's this guy's angle?
I think the phone exists.
Yeah, so do I. So do
Yeah.
I
I.
do too. He'd be crazy to say, I backed it up. I took it from him. Candace, yeah, now I have it. They'd be crazy to admit that if it's not true. And even if they were like, oh, it's a prank, that was a joke, they come on.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see him coming out and saying that was a prank, it's a joke. I don't see that happening. Because Benny Keys was very white. I've never seen him so like white, like pale.
He was upset.
Yeah, he was very upset. And so I tend to believe him. I know you're getting at, Pat. Like, it's really hard to believe any characters in this situation. But I tend to believe him on that point.
Yeah, well, after listening to like 12 hours of it, I guess it's hammered into my head, okay, there's got to be a telephone. I would think after Don lost his phone, after Summer went missing and the TBI took it or whatever, if they didn't give it back, then yeah, I would assume that Don would go out and buy another phone. He's not going to be without.
No. And I mean, when he found out in court that day that he was going to jail, they'll make sure his property gets home. But maybe he was afraid there was something on it that they would go through, because it's now in their possession. That could be it too.
And Benny was telling Candace, look, I think you should look through the phone. And she said, well, that wouldn't be right. It's my husband's phone. And I was thinking, like, since when has she got grown a morale, like human?
Hang on. She said it wouldn't be right for her to go through Dawn's phone, but it's okay to jump Jose. It's okay for her to pick up a dude at the Shell gas station, moving in, and do God knows what with him. It's okay to pick up Hunter on the 15th, but no, I'm not crossing that line. I'm not going through Dawn's phone.
Yeah, it's like, and he was like, I think it's kind of important. Like, I think you really should. And then he's saying, or just bring it down to Ronnie Hawkins. Like, Ronnie Hawkins is saying you're not cooperating, so bring this phone down. And then you'll say, okay, they're cooperating,
Mm-hmm.
Do something to help your case. I mean, we're talking about your little girl, Summer.
Exactly. And I think this would negate any husband-wife privacy thing, which I mean, I agree. Okay, I would never go through my husband's phone, but if my daughter was missing, I'd go through everybody's phone.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a phone anywhere around me, I'd be like, we're going through that phone.
Yeah. Like, hello.
Yeah, we're going to find it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of this. This is fair use. You give the view to Benny, but I'm going to go through just a little bit of this. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, hang on. Because this is, he starts out with him, where I'm starting it anyway. He's questioning a lot of things. He's upset about Grandis's nap, that this was just brought out.
Mm-hmm.
A few other things. Listen to Tim's demeanor. Nothing really shakes him up. And I mean, Candace, I'm not going to go through his phone. Hunter went through yours, Candace.
Yeah.
Was it 45 minutes, 2 hours? Like, that stretches the timeline in a way where you're like, whoa. Wait a minute here. But let me step back. I asked her if she met Dunn anywhere after she left Hunter's house. Because she told Hunter she stopped at a Marathon gas station and a Dollar General.
Don also mentioned a Dollar General. He was
did.
on Cher's channel. I believe Jay for Justice was on there too. They asked something. He said that he went to Dollar General for lunch. They asked
Mhm.
what time. And I was kind of like, well, that would be lunchtime. But it seems to me that lunchtime was much later in the afternoon.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
There's only one of each of those coming from hunters on her way back home around the mountain. My friend Penny has done a very but yeah, because if you take those little, she said from the beginning that she did, only for 2 minutes. Where the hell was there never time, Tim, for Graham and Candace to take a nap inside of all of this? There was never time because they arrived, they started planting flowers, they fixed the race, yada, 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 and then she comes up missing. What Graham and Candace is saying now is that she awoke from a nap to Summer being missing.
And that's exactly what happened. We've heard all of this since June. Then Grandis gets mad at Lawson for saying she's not cooperating. She takes herself out of the story. Okay. I was taking a nap. That's the last time I saw her. Now listen to Tim. Listen to Tim. He's not shaken up by this at all. He can't explain it. He won't try to make sense of it. All he says is, oh, I'm neutral. You're not neutral, Tim. You can't be neutral. There's a missing little girl, dude. You can't be neutral. What are you guys making of this?
Go ahead, Deb.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get Tim Mullins at all, because if he's not part of this scheme, or I mean, I don't know if he's been paid or they have dirt on him or what, but you know, it would have been important to give the phone up back then when Don went to jail. And, you know, the fact that it was downloaded, he took some stuff off, I'm pretty sure. And then he gave it back to Candace, who doesn't want to look through her husband's phone because, I mean, it wouldn't be right. It's not making sense to me. My little girl of 5 years old is missing. I'm going to make sure that telephone gets to Ronnie Hawkins ASAP.
Not only that, you think it's so wrong to go through Don's phone. Tim is the Boy Scout who backs up the information. Why would you back up information if it's not important? Trust me, the TBI in Hawkins County will tell you if it's important. They'll tell you. Hang on, our friend Jenna wants to come up. I put the link. She's has obviously been watching this too. Anyone associated with them, there's a red flag.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah.
Shay said, I think it's all a lie, just men losing their grip and control. I wonder what the hell's going on. But I mean, I'm listening to the phone call and he's calling it out. And Tim is stumbling around his words or not saying anything at all. It's very odd.
Yeah.
Changes about the same thing in just a few days. That's why I'll get the story here. That's why I'm staying so neutral. So, and I'm just letting it play out. If she's making that stuff, if she's telling truth, if it's whiskey talking,
is it the whiskey talking? I'm just going to let it play out. No. We know Candace is not going to take that phone. If you have backed up information, it could be the smallest thing. You're not going to let it play out, dumbass.
Mm-mm.
We're at 9.5 months almost. It hasn't played out yet, but you took the time to back up a phone that doesn't belong to you. Why are you doing this good deed and not just handing it over?
Yeah, why would he do that? Why would he do that?
Mhm.
You have to ask
And
yourselves.
I
I mean, I
go
feel like
ahead.
I know the answer. I feel like I know the answer, but I don't know because for a fact. So I'm just saying, everybody has to ask themselves that question. Why would you back it up?
Why would you get so involved that you back it up and that you're holding something that could be evidence? We don't know. There could be nothing on there. There could be nothing on there. But it's enough getting people stirred up.
Yes. And how
For
did all
sure.
of this start with the phone?
I don't know how the phone came up. I don't know if they were having a conversation and something was mentioned about a phone he has. So he calls him and records him to find out. And then Candace says she has it. I don't know.
She's been confiding in Benny a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if she told him. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
like
mean,
just he said, why back up nothing? If there's, what are you doing? You're putting his playlist on there?
yeah,
His phone numbers? What are you backing up?
yeah, exactly. Why do you have to back up? I never back up my phone, but anyways, I mean that's just
No.
just
Okay,
And
before I get further in this video, go ahead, Pat. Then I'm going to put Jenna up. She wants to tell us something.
I was just going to say, it seems like Tim wasn't surprised that Grandis took a nap. So it seems like Benny was caught off guard with all this new information, whereas I guess he thought they were confiding everything in him.
and I think you're straight on, Pat. You boom, you just hit it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on top of that, look what Jeep Girl said. Probably trying to get rid of him and Don's messages, evidence, because he might have been involved. I don't think Tim Mullen was involved, but I think him and Don could have been having some deep conversations he wanted to get rid of. And you don't back up nothing.
No, exactly.
Let's see what Jenna says. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, can you hear me?
Absolutely. How are you, sweet girl?
I'm okay. Do I sound all right? I have hearing aids. I can't hear myself sometimes. But do I sound all right, or am I too loud?
You sound perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
The thing with Tim getting the phone, and maybe somebody should say trigger warning because it's kids shouldn't listen. And this is so I have a really disgusting uncle that shouldn't be alive, in my opinion. But so Don having the phone, it happened the same way. Okay, you can't make, my aunt knew what my uncle was doing, but you can't make somebody put in the passcode to their phone, give them access. Like if it's Don's phone, like you can't make them. But Tim downloaded it to his computer, so they can take Tim's computer now. With Benny just putting it on his phone or it just being on a phone, you can't just take it. Now the police can take it without anyone asking permission. If anything is on that phone and look at the information. Like you can't make somebody give you, especially if it's Candace and Don, like Candace is married and they don't have to testify against each other. Mm-hmm. And you also can't make somebody. I think Tim downloaded it to his computer instead of Candace's phone, Benny's phone. Now they could have made it come out of Benny's phone. I don't know, but Benny lies. I just think it's because of that Tim downloaded it to a computer and he's not a spouse. And I kind of think maybe now they can take it because it's on a computer.
Well, they have to have a warrant and they have to have a reason.
And they totally do have, they can get a warrant from a judge, and the reason they'll petition anything, they can call, well, actually a federal agent or a judge contacts or signs a request for FCC, like the Federal Communication Commission. I don't know how to, if I say that right. It's the FCC, and it's the Federal Communication Commission, I believe, and that overrides all privacy when it comes to like investigation of like homicides, of course, child things, molestation and abuse, neglect, things like that, crimes against people, drugs, whatever. Now they can get that, but the judge has to put in, or the federal person has to put in specific dates, and tell the reason why. Now, if this is just an investigative thing, by what they have those PIs that are not real PIs, or maybe they're not, it's questionable. I don't know. But so now when it's on a computer, they can just take that. They
They
don't.
just get a warrant and go get the computer. I think the conversation is, why did Tim take possession of the phone? Why did he feel the need to back it up? Why didn't he just hand it over to the sheriff and say, he gave me this phone?
Because Tim is crooked.
Okay. Thank you, girlfriend.
I mean, I don't y'all think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I mean, Tim's bottom line, I don't think he's bottom lining for Summer or anything. He just wants to be recognized as a writer, and he as a photographer. And also, who knows if Tim has done bad things with pictures that could, and who's to say that they're on there, but if they are, Tim could have sold them himself. Tim might have been a mastermind at all this. Like, where did he even come from? So I don't know, but I know on a computer you can gain access way faster than a phone.
Well, you shouldn't be in possession of something that might have evidence on it. Makes no sense to me.
Tim would totally do that, just because Don's gone. Maybe he's worried about not getting paid for something. Like maybe there was something about the IMBD movies. I guarantee you it's like money related somehow. Or protecting somebody, probably himself. That's just what I think. But you can get a computer access so much faster than phone.
Well, and like Alicia said, and like you said, follow the money.
Right. That's what it's all about. I'd like to know where Tim Mullins just popped up from. Yeah, he did the Kingsport photography and calendar and whatever else, but he just popped up at this parade and decided he wanted to touch Candace's shoulder or prayer vigil, and then boom, he's the PI, not PI, he's the manager.
Media manager, and he doesn't
Media
do a very
manager,
good
and they
job of it.
offer, right.
No, a fourth grader could have made that website.
Yeah, and the police offer a media manager and their own, what did they say, advocate counselor type person, but they chose not to. They chose Tim instead. Well, why?
Well, because they don't want to deal with law enforcement. They want to control their own mess.
Right.
They
And
can't. They can't have law enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I believe that wholeheartedly, but maybe Tim isn't any kind of saint, you know? I don't believe he is at all. I don't believe he did anything out of the goodness of his heart. So that was just my thing. I just know a computer is much easier, and you don't have to get the permission from the owner, because a computer, like, you don't have to have like Don put his passcode. But if Don's in jail and they have his fingerprints on file, they can use his fingerprints. If that was a 6S, like they said. But wasn't it supposedly an iPhone 6S or something? I thought they said it was an iPhone 6S or something like that, an older iPhone. iPhones are harder to get into, but once it's downloaded onto a computer, like, it's just opening it.
The authorities can get into them. It doesn't matter if you have passcode on it. If it has face recognition or whatever, they can get into it. They do it all the time.
They can get into it. Now,
it might take longer.
Yeah,
it might be more of a process.
Longer.
But I mean, why does he think that he needs to process this? This is crazy. He does not need a suspect's phone. He doesn't need to back it up. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Maybe he's just protecting himself, or the fact that
Yeah.
Don is in jail. He wants him to stay there. I guarantee you, didn't somebody say something about the
They
Wells
made a shot.
irrevocable trust? Maybe he's part of that, and he wants to incriminate everyone but himself. He can also make adjustments, and they could tell it. But Tim's pretty smart. He can like manipulate things and take out parts of it and say, "I did this just for my own safety, or to look at it, or for in case he destroyed it." I just know that.
And then takes it to Candace. I saw the website he made. Trust me, he's no tech guru. Okay,
Right,
he's no tech guru. So whatever he thought he was doing is more than likely illegal.
right. You're definitely right. I I do know with Apple, when people get the things from the phone, they get location and you get pictures, but of conversations, you get transcription of said conversation. You don't get the conversation, you get transcription of it. Like, instead of it saying, like, if Candace was saying, well, tell somebody to meet me at this location, they'll get the words, but they won't get the actual conversation.
No, they
Um,
get something totally different, and they don't want that. They don't want that. What they need is when they get the phone, they get the phone records. They call it a map. It doesn't look like, you're reading text or anything like that. It's totally different. The
oh,
sheriff, the sheriff would have to order it.
this has
So,
been years. So I'm talking
but
about.
even if he wiped it
Yes.
off, they can still get it. Believe it or not, they can still get
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah, I'm talking about back when the first original iPhone came out. That was a phone in question that my uncle had. So I don't know. I'm sure they've improved that since all that time. But yeah.
No,
So
I'm telling you, technology changes every day.
right. But with the judge's orders or a federal agent orders, because they're investigating missing children, or also other things, they're gonna get it. It just takes time, longer time, but it won't take any time at all. And maybe Tim is gonna drop that in somebody else's hands because he wants part of the reward money. Tim can't get it, but maybe somebody else that he thinks is non-related will end up saying, "I've got this," and then they solve the case, and then Tim gets part of the reward, something, or just the recognition of him. uh I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he's for the Wells or just for himself. I feel like he's creepy, but I don't know.
He says he's neutral. That's
He
all we
says
know.
he's neutral, but
But we're Team Summer here. Hey,
I'm
Jenna, I appreciate you coming up.
okay. I think he's crooked. All right, bye.
Thanks, girlfriend. Oh, Harrison said, I'm absolutely frustrated with the YouTubers going over and over basically about he said, she said, not helping Summer. I'm not really looking at what Benny is saying. I'm not saying anything bad about Benny. I want to hear what Tim and Candace are saying. Candace is a suspect in the disappearance of her daughter. Keeping Summer's name out there absolutely does help Summer. We don't want a cold case. We want people to continue talking about Summer. About Summer. This isn't about any YouTuber or anything like that. I am talking about what was said between Tim and Benny, and especially Candace and Benny, and what is going on with this phone, and why won't people just hand the phone over? Who cares if he backed it up? Who cares if he wiped it out? They will retrieve that information. It happens all the time. They will retrieve that information.
And
Yeah.
I also think, like, Candace, I believe, would have to be the one to turn it in, because it's not that easy. Like, the police just can't go to a judge and say, "Oh, I have a warrant. I want to confiscate Don's phone." They have to have a reason. The judge, because otherwise they could just go up to Candace today and say, "I want your phone. Here's a warrant." And they could go to Allie, and they could go to everybody and say, "I want your phone today." They just can't do that.
No, it doesn't work that way. But if what he is saying is correct, he took possession of Don's phone and he backed it up. That kind of puts something in the air that there's something on there for some reason. Dawn's not getting out of jail for 6 months, maybe a year. Why did you go back it up? That's a good reason to go and ask what you got going on. They can ask a question. They don't have to have a warrant to go to your door and just say what's going on, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And why is it coming out now? What is this? Because in the past couple weeks, there's been something coming out every other day. Jose, Allie's interview, again, this and that. It just seems like, the steps are crumbling.
I think the big thing was Grandis saying she took a nap. She messed the whole timeline up.
Thank
Right.
you. That put
She started
everyone's head spinning. And she
Yeah.
only did that out of anger, not to help Summer Wells, not to help her granddaughter.
No.
She wanted to put herself out of this, and so she washes her hands of it. I took a nap. I don't know what happened. I was sleeping.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, this is about Summer Wells and keeping her name out there.
Exactly.
And if there's a phone floating around that can help this little girl, the smallest thing. All right, for those of you that watch let's just say like Dateline NBC or 2020 or something like that, okay? I'm not talking like Law and Order or like one of those scripted channels. It can be like one of the tiniest things that law enforcement goes off of, like something we didn't even think about.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm hoping they have.
Yeah, and it could be on that phone. I don't know. I mean, all information is important, right?
Right.
That moment, she's just talking about some moment when she walked off, Summer busted her knee.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, because if you take those little pieces,
Everything
the
is-
person you talked to last night, right? You go crazy trying to piece it together. So when you add the piece of the nap, you don't just put NAP into the timeline. You've got to put an amount of time that is also automatically attached to NAP. So how long was the NAP? Was it 2 minutes? Like Candace says she went over and she was only gone for 2 minutes. Or was it 45 minutes, 2 hours? Like that stretches the timeline in a way where you're like, whoa. Wait a minute here. But let me step back. I asked her if she...
Okay, Navalis says, more interested in why TBI told Candace she left the hill twice that day and Dawn's crack trip than the phone, to be honest. TBI already have data from that phone from that day. I thought this was a separate phone, not the one they took on the 15th. That's what I'm trying to make sense of. Is this a separate phone? Is this the one they gave back? And why did Tim back it up? I also want to know, while Grandis was sleeping, if Candace left. Was there really a stop at Marathon? Was there really a stop at Dollar General? Both her and Dawn have mentioned Dollar General. By the way, welcome, Navalis. Justice for kids. Sorry, folks. Brooks needs to know that she's not always right. You damn right I'm not always right. These things change all the time. I don't have the case file. All I know is what's presented to us. Hell no, I'm not always right. Shit, you think I'd be sitting here doing this if I knew everything? Are you kidding me?
She met Dawn anywhere after she left Hunter's house because she told Hunter she stopped at a Marathon gas station and a Dollar General. There's only one of each of those coming from Hunter's on her way back home around the mountain. My friend Penny has done a very, very, very extensive timeline of the time when she left Hunter and then came around that mountain to get back home, which included 2 stops, one at the Marathon, one at the Dollar General. She's never specified where these 2 locations were at, but when they're on the back side of that mountain down there by fucking H's house, they're on the right side of the mountain where Donnie was also working. So Donnie was within 15 or 20 minutes of Candace when she was leaving Hunter's to go back home. So I asked her, I mean, my friend Penny even broke the time down and the paths of least resistance and has even come up with a spot that is like, when you look at any other spot they could have met, it's way too public. This spot was very conveniently exact. I mean, it's a spot theoretically they could have met to make a transfer. She says, no, that.
Okay, and I'm not saying this is correct. We've theorized for many months that there had to have been a transfer somewhere. Then she goes home and she calls 911. We've always thought that he had to be somewhere involved. He wasn't at work all day and met.
Yeah, we did. We called this a while ago, but
Hi, Crime and Justice.
and you know what I think the thing is also about the reward, like Jenna mentioned. I think the reward, like Pat told me, like I was thinking that too, and Pat said no. I think the reward is leading to Summer's location. Am I correct?
Or Summer's recovery. I don't think the reward is going to be given to people that give them clues about Dawn and Candace. Like, isn't the reward for people that lead to the recovery or finding Summer? Because the police, the police haven't said that she was murdered or something. You know what I mean? Like, and they haven't charged anybody. Unless someone has information showing who was involved in Summer's disappearance, like, they're not going to get any reward money for just handing over a telephone or something like that.
No, but they said foul play.
Well, the telephone's not going to get Tim any reward. It's kind of like what Pat was saying. Rewards are very specific. It's leading to the recovery of. And what's odd, okay, I'm trying to think of what the case is. And it was basically some hunters that came across a body. I mean, the body was not intact, had been there a long time. And they did not get the reward because it was just by happenstance, if you know what I mean. It wasn't someone that came forward.
Right.
So, I mean, Tim turning over the phone isn't going to do anything except it could clear his conscience and he wouldn't be further involved, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Nosed Potes. Hang on. Oh, crud. Could the phone lead to Summer's recovery, though? I don't know what's on it.
None of us.
What's on it. I know there was a reason for Tim to feel the need to take possession of it and back it up. These are his words, not mine. I'm not speculating. He's the one that said he backed it up. I wouldn't back up someone else's phone. And if they're like, hey, here's my phone, I'm going to jail, I can't imagine me being in that scenario. I'd be like, okay, well, I'll just take it to your house and you'll get it when you get out. I mean, really, that'd be about the extent of my good deed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, he said that he was supposed to do, that Dawn said, take it back to Candace, and he didn't. He took it to his place, backed it up, kept it for 2 weeks, and then gave it to Candace. So this is what I'm not getting. But I mean, it's very hard to believe any of the characters in this situation.
No, and I totally get that. If criminals told the truth, we wouldn't have detectives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about true crime, we sift through all their shit and figure out what could possibly make sense.
Exactly. And why is Tim coming out saying he backed it up? Like, why did he tell people?
That's what I want to know. Why would you even say that? You think you're going to get a cookie? You think we're going to say, oh, great job? As if, the authorities don't know how to back it up, or they wouldn't think of it, or they wouldn't retrieve the information.
I don't know. Do you think the authorities know now with this video out?
With the amount of people that watch and find it their civil duty to call the TBI on the daily about what they've seen on Facebook and YouTube, oh yeah, they know.
Mm-hmm. So they're
I'm
going to be
sure lots
asking
of people
for.
have told. Go ahead.
So they're going to probably be asking for a warrant, I think.
If
for
the
that.
phone exists and this isn't some kind of hoax or prank, they're going to want to know what's going on and what the big deal is, I would think.
This
And
is, I mean, in my, sorry, Bat, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I would think if the TBI approached the judge to get a warrant, they would actually, or could actually say, this phone could have been in Dawn's possession when Summer went missing. And we just found out about it. So I would say that would probably give them the cause to get a warrant.
Yeah, and the thing is this is all too big. I mean, it's too big of an issue to be a prank. I don't see it as a prank, Brooks.
I don't know why Candace, I get. I don't know why Tim would go along with it and even add the extra detail. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get
Yes.
it. I don't get it.
Unless he was just trying to get under Benny's skin. Because Benny, you could tell he's very mad that all of this was kept from him.
He is, and I don't think Tim trusts Benny.
No, I don't think so.
Wendy said Benny says he turned this in 3 weeks ago. Benny said he turned this in 3 weeks ago. Okay, that's good. So, I mean, well, maybe they have it by now. I don't know. I have no idea because all this was recorded at the beginning of the month, so we don't know.
Well,
Right.
how can Benny turn it in if it's not in his possession and he's in
No. The tip. Sorry.
Okay.
I should have been more.
Specific. It's fine.
Specific.
We gotcha.
Okay, start talking. Meditating in the rain doesn't do it for me. Here we go. Hit the button.
Yeah.
So he arrived. They started planting flowers to Summer being missing. She was just talking about some moment when she walked off. Summer busted her knee, and
He does this a lot. Some people to stay, right?
you take those little pieces. What's the emotional person you talked to last night? Right? You go crazy trying to piece them together. So when you add the piece of the nap, you don't just put NAP in. Or was it 45 minutes, 2 hours? Like, that stretches the timeline in a way where you're like, whoa. Wait a minute. On her way back home around the mountain. My friend Penny has done a very, very, very extensive timeline of the time when she left Hunter and then came around that mountain to get back.
Okay, he keeps going through this.
Broke the time down and the paths of least resistance, and has even come up with a spot that is like, when you look at any other spot they could have met, it's way too public. This spot was very conveniently exact. I mean, it's a spot theoretically they could have met to make a transfer. She says, no, that didn't happen. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. So then you move forward past being down there and back up on the hill. from the hill without you knowing about it? And she said, anything's possible. And I said, okay, we're to the point where anything's possible. What would have had to have happened in order to make the transfer, Ken? Like, not the transfer, but something would have had to have boiled over. Like, Don wasn't just going to leave work early one day, sneak up to his own house, steal his own daughter, and then take her somewhere. Like, now, in the realm, in the arena of possibility, anything is possible. But for that to be just so organic, there would have had to have been, like, there's a catalyst somewhere. It's a hidden catalyst. If you start to make that a thing, right? So, right, if Hunter did not exist to this thing could be whatever it wanted to be. Like the Cal City boys. The Cal City parents alleged that the boys went missing on X day. Now, DA's released and said it was actually 90 days before they even reported them missing. They were already dead, right? So I tell Candace, I'm like, listen, Candace, there has to be, and pardon my French, there would have to be a badder motherfucker around that hill than you and Don that day. There would have had to have been a real monster around there somewhere. Someone that is a worse woman beater than Don, more neglectful to the children than Candace. And this person is just, we want to believe that this person, Tim, is randomly waiting for a little girl that he can't even know exists.
Okay, that's a lot spilling out right there. And it's nope, Benny and I have not had the same opinion on this case the whole time, well, up until, this week. And we have said that on this show many times. So you're telling me there is actually a worse person in Summer's life than her own parents that happened to know she was home, happened to know where she was, happened to know how to get up that hill and take her. Hang on 1 second. Justice for kids. Wait till you all disagree with Brooks. Ha ha. People do every day. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. You are extra salty today. I don't know what got in your crawl, but I suggest instead of coffee, you have a mimosa. Okay? Yep, not worn out. You're welcome. What do you think about that, Pat? Think about that. You have someone worse than the people that have been neglectful and are abusive, give children alcohol, leave them in a home that's basically unlivable.
Yeah, you know what? There could have been someone worse up on the hill, but when these people get into arguments, it's a slow thing. Like, you have an argument with someone, then they'll be fighting for weeks and stuff like that. We haven't heard anything about that with anybody. So I don't see that happening. I just don't see it happening. And from what Dawn and Candace look like, they would protect their own property. However they do it is a different story. But
they protect themselves because they're very selfish people.
Right.
If there's somebody crawling around up there, we already heard about how she reported to Hunter, very odd, that there was some, creepy guy out there trying to touch kids, setting up a alibi, basically. So if you care about your property and your 3 minor children that are unsupervised, you would call 911 right then. But we are supposed to believe their story that in 2 minutes, Summer got gone and they could do nothing. Now, Grandis was taking a nap. They could do nothing to find her. Nothing.
Yeah. And I just don't see that. One thing I wanted to mention, just to touch on, is when Benny said that Candace told H that she had stopped at the gas station and the Dollar General. I hadn't heard that before.
That's huge.
yeah, it's like, okay. And if she had told him that the day she talked to him, which would have been the 15th or 16th, that's information from the very beginning, which I always like to listen to rather than the stuff that comes, 3, 4, 6 months later. You never know, that's more suspect to me. But
Yeah,
something like, you know what I mean? It's like, did she make those 2 stops, and why did we never hear about those?
exactly. I mean, that is huge. That
Yeah.
is huge. And, if true, and I don't see why it wouldn't be, there's something bigger going on than we know about, or we think, or, I mean, like our extra salty person this morning, I mean, no, we're not always right. And we'll be the first ones to come out and say, hey, we were wrong. But
Oh, totally. If somebody
yeah,
came up and gave us information that made us all be totally wrong, I would say thank you. If it was credible information, I'd just say thank you very much, because we're the first ones to say we don't know what happened, but these are the facts that people have told us, and we're trying to make sense of it because it involves a poor little girl, and we're just trying to make sense of it all. And if we could help in any way, that's all we want.
Exactly. And like Joan of Arc said, name one person decent in Summer's life besides her brothers. Let's take a poll. One person that stood up for Summer. I have a feeling chat is not going to light up.
Yeah, I can't think who did.
And honestly, Candace could be lying about all this, the 2 stops. They could be lying about the phone. Why Tim would go along with the phone when Candace slipped and said this to Chris McDonough.
yeah,
It seems like there's a phone out there and somebody is concerned about it. It's worth looking at. It's worth
Yes.
looking at.
well, I'm concerned about it.
Accidentally saw her, or if he knew about her before. So if he knew about her before, that means Don and Candace would be able to boil down through the people they know, and all of these people would have been like, I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. Today, March 3rd, them people did something to their own daughter, friend.
Okay. Now, if I was neutral, like Tim is, and I heard someone say that to me, today, March 3rd, they did something to their own daughter, friend.
Yeah.
I would either come out fighting or I would say, well, what do you mean? I would have something to say. Tim doesn't really have much of a comeback. That's a pretty jarring statement. It's something we say on here every day, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Being confronted with it and doesn't really have a lot to say.
No, he doesn't. That's why Pat was saying she really couldn't understand what he was saying because he doesn't get much in. I mean, Benny does talk a lot, but I think I have a feeling Benny's trying to do the right thing at this point.
Well, he certainly brought to the forefront the telephone. So obviously it's got us all wondering what the heck's on that telephone.
We're wondering about the telephone, the crack deal that Dawn made. Okay. I'm not going to let that go. The 2 stops that day. There's a lot. There's a lot.
And Benny didn't know about the nap that Grandis took. And you know what? That could all be a lie. She could have just said that to...
She's mentioned that to other people over the months. It's the first time she said it publicly because it's the first time she spoke publicly.
Right.
So,
but that could be her way of distancing herself.
Absolutely, she is.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether she took a nap or not.
Well, she's taking herself out of the picture, so she doesn't get any charges.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, whatever. When this all comes out, we'll find out. But maybe she probably was taking a nap. I mean, it would make sense after the day she had. Not to mention the fact that it didn't even seem like she went to the watering hole for the swim.
No, hell no, she wasn't there because she wasn't there with them when they went to pick up Hunter.
Right. So it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
She even says, I think she went swimming. I think it was at the horse pond. If she was there, she'd be like, then we took her swimming. She would place herself in the moment. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
I take my children swimming, I'm like, yeah, we went swimming.
Right.
We went to this lake or that lake, or we went to the pool. It wouldn't be like, I think they went swimming. I think this is where it's at. That's not
Yeah.
that's not how our minds work.
No, exactly. Exactly. But, we all know their past. So, I mean, we all know that for a fact. So that's why we're kind of taking everything with a grain of salt.
Mhm.
But I think Benny had a conscience wake up here. I don't know what's going on. He just found out about the phone. Grandis telling the media that she had a nap, but it would make sense because after getting up really early and going to the hospital, and now she's taking whatever she's taking for her knee pills. She probably did go for a nap. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, I believe she took a nap. I have no reason not to believe she took a nap. It makes sense to me.
It does to me too.
It makes total sense to me. And as far as the timing of these phone calls, I just heard him say March 3rd. So Grandis's interview came out the 1st. I think that's when Lawson said they're not cooperating. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that could have been enough to trip him up and start calling and recording them saying, what the hell is going on? Because I do believe she took a nap. And that changed a lot of things for me. And also she said they went to the ER. The ER is different than a doctor's appointment.
Definitely.
The ER is not a microwave pizza, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Wendy, I agree 100%. If this phone thing helps Summer, that's all that matters. This is about Summer. Benny did the right thing no matter his reason. Summer is what matters. Whatever his reason, whatever the method behind the madness, don't care. This is about Summer.
It's a means to an end. Like we need, if there's anything that could be used on that phone, it needs to be turned in. It needs to be turned in either way. Like I don't see why you would hold on to it. Why would you hold on to something like that? I wouldn't. And she's saying she's got to get away from. I'm going ahead, but she's saying she's got to get away from Donnie and never look back and this and that. Well, okay, but you won't go through his phone. Like, make it make sense because it doesn't.
She's already got. Sorry.
No, you go ahead, baby.
She's already gone on the other side of the fence with Donnie. She's already said she wants a divorce. She's not in love with him. So what's the big deal of turning in his phone? There's no big deal once she's already gone on to the other side of the fence. So yeah, I
totally see what you're saying. She's not in love with him. There's no reason to protect him. As if you would if your husband is complicit in your daughter's disappearance. There'd be no reason to cover for him anyway. But I mean, Candace is from a totally different cloth than the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
But if now you're not in love with him anymore and you've got a phone that could possibly have something on it, even if it's a deleted voicemail, a deleted text message, those things can be brought back out. Give it to him. They've been chomping at the bit to throw Dawn under the bus all this time. So unless it was a conversation you were having with him, you wanted him to help you, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Those folks, like, even if they didn't do it themselves, they know who did something, Tim. Like, we just can't ignore the facts. Like, but still, let me give that killer. Hunter is the thing. He is the tie that binds. Because without Hunter, you never see the girl alive that day.
Okay, who agrees with that? I had a comment the other day that said, at this point, the only person the authorities are going to believe is Hunter. Hunter is the tie that binds. What do you guys think of that? We have discussed it on this channel many times. I'm bringing it back up. We have said before, Hunter is what sews all this up together the day. Once they get him to quit saying what Candace told him to.
I agree completely. I agree.
I agree with that. I just, I never want to believe or somebody would come up with a big, huge story of she picked me up, she came in the house, she changed Summer into the bathing suit. Like, I don't know. It was hard for me to think, was that all a lie?
Yeah, it was too. I don't know. It was too much. I think Hunter was there that day, but I don't think he has anything to do with Summer's disappearance.
Oh, I agree with that. I don't want to believe it. I guess my mind just wouldn't want to
Well,
believe something. He looks like a young kid.
well, that's the thing, and he's never been the same apparently since that day. So why?
Hmm.
Why?
Right.
Why? He saw Summer and Candace many times. Why that day? Why has he never been the same? There's something going on.
We heard it from Sherry. We heard it from Allie, from Grandbun. He wasn't the same. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
assumed after he admitted to drinking alcohol that he was just kind of sobering up, if you know what I mean. But it got worse and worse and worse after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I mean, if he was never the same, something happened that he knows about that he can't say because he's afraid of Candace and Dawn.
I think that's why he places Grandis at the watering hole. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why he mimicked exactly what Candace said about how Summer would never wander off from her swing. Well, how would he know? How would he know what Summer does and doesn't do? You can never predict what a child's going to do.
No.
I mean, one day your kid's eating a banana and the next day they're flushing the peel down the toilet. You don't know what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't predict a child's behavior. My God.
No, you can't. You can't.
But
Absolutely not.
as far as was Hunter the only one that confirms Summer was there that day, I guess.
Allie.
Well, that's true. Allie did say she was in the car. That is true.
Windows rolled up, no air on, and she wanted to give her a hug.
Right. Right. Yeah. See, I don't know. I guess after all this time, you'd think it would have come out if 5 people were lying or 4 people. They all seem to have a consistent story, but I still think Hunter was coached.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was wondering if he was coached because Candace didn't want Dawn to know that no one was with her and Hunter and Summer at the swimming pool.
Oh, I guarantee, and he was afraid. That's the reason he grabbed that phone and went through it. Something
Yeah.
to him, and also, it has never sat right with me. I know some people say it's not a big deal, but it's never sat right with me that Candace, with a missing daughter, you've got to take a polygraph, which she said she passed. I don't see how she passed. We're sitting here. But guilty people pass and innocent people fail. It's the damnedest thing. That's why they can't be used in court. That she goes over to, I mean, basically what it looked like to me is to intimidate them. What did you say to TBI? She knows she can intimidate them. Allie was so scared of her that instead of going up and getting her own children in the fall of 2020, she had to call the sheriff's department to have them help her get her own children. So she knows how to put the fear of God in people. I agree with Jules. H is afraid. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems everybody's afraid in this situation. I don't understand it.
No. And that could be the reason the courts haven't really said anything. They could be afraid too. Imagine having it in your mind that you're going to get returned to them, so I'm not going to say anything.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And did someone mention that when Candace went over to H's house, what you were just talking about right after, that Grandis was there as well? I heard that somewhere. Did anybody else?
No, I don't think I heard that.
No?
I don't
'Cause
remember
thought,
hearing Grandis was there. No.
okay, because I thought, well, that's even more intimidation against Hunter if the two of those walked in.
No, because Candace said that he called her. I mean, this is Candace's statement, and said, "Come pick me up," and so she did. I think she called him, but anyways, that's just my opinion. And then she said well, I was waiting for my mom, so I thought, rather than wait for her in the parking lot, we'll go pick up Hunter. So I don't think Grandis was there
No,
when.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about the next day when Candace came back to sort of say to Hunter, what did you tell the TBI? I heard somewhere recently that Grandis was with her when she went to Hunter's, like to intimidate him. So that's what I was wondering. The two of them walking in would certainly be intimidating.
Oh, see, I heard that. Okay, I did hear that. But then I also heard that Candace was alone.
Okay.
Okay, it's all in the evidence says, yes, I remember that. Okay, Roxanne said it's in that interview with JLR. That would definitely be an intimidation factor. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. All right, let's finish this little bit of this. Hang on. Then we'll get to discussing.
Hunter is the thing that makes Summer alive on that day. Because you don't have any camera stuff anywhere. In the very beginning, there was an eyewitness that said that the day Candace and all of them went to Warrior Park, that they had stopped in the hippie house and that Summer had went in with her. Well, we know that to not be true also because that shop is 18 or older.
Okay. So he's giving him facts. He's giving him facts. He's giving him facts. Tim is still sitting there like a deer in headlights and not saying anything. I couldn't imagine being on the other end of this phone call, even if Benny's making the whole thing up and not having anything to say.
Yeah. It seems like Tim's got an agenda.
Uh-huh. Well, he was talking about a Netflix series. He kind of wanted to keep this going as long as possible. Not that he can't even make a website like Netflix is going to trust his ass. But I mean, I think he's got an ulterior motive. He does. And that motive is not to find Summer Wells.
Right. Yeah.
So legally, Summer couldn't have even went in that store because they sell hemp products. So we knew immediately that for the lady to say that Summer had came in there and was on, the lady said she was on many. She was on many of the surveillance cameras inside the store. So this was at like month 3. So Cam and them, that's how they found out it was Cam and Allie. I directed them to the hippie house. I said, you got to go in there. We discussed how they were going to get the documentation of going in there. And I said, you can't go in there filming people. And you can't really go, you can go in there and record it, but you can never play it. You can only depict the likeness of what happened in the audio. You can't play it. So
now, why would the girl at the hippie house say that they have Summer on CCTV, but they're saying it's 18 and over, you can't bring a child in there? I mean, if you go to get a bottle of wine, the liquor store is 21 and over, you can't take a child in there. At least where I live. I don't know about everyone else. So again, we have another problem. You see what I'm saying, Pat?
Yeah. Why did that girl, she might have just wanted to insert herself in the story, but then again, I also have seen people that would take their kid or daughter or son into a liquor store or whatever and just wait for someone there to tell them to leave, get the child out. And I could see Candace doing that, saying, oh, just come on. But again, I don't know. Is that true? I guess the TBI is the only one that would know whether they have Summer on film.
Yeah, they would have the CCTV and all that. Not... Okay, hang on. Crime and Justice said that is a lie. Doug called Hippie House and they told him kids can come in as long as accompanied by an adult. So if you're under 18 and you're basically in there trying to buy something, then no, you can't go in. So they could bring Summer in. So there's no reason for the woman that works at Hippie House to lie. Okay, that helps me a lot.
Yeah.
All of the things come together where you're like, okay, the lady at the Hippie House, she said this Summer came in with her mom the day she went missing. But in her saying that, she's also admitting that the Hippie House breaks its own protocol for allowing minors at the store. So that sort of makes it seem like it's credible. Like she came out with this information, even though it could be a detriment to her own business, the livelihood. So,
okay, there I think he's reading a little too much into this because, like Crime and Justice said, Doug called. They said if accompanied by an adult, they can come in. So, but what he's saying makes sense if that is the rule. If it's ironclad, you cannot come in if you're under 18. But why would she risk her job by saying, yeah, she came in?
Yeah, I think he's stretching it.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think he knew what was that you can go in with an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's filling in the gaps.
Trying.
Possibly.
Trying.
Yeah.
without that lady saying that she saw Summer that day, and without Hunter saying he saw the child that day, you even got Allie, who says she came out upon their arrival back, and she witnessed the child in the back asleep, and asked if she could wake her up, and Candace said no.
All right. So what they're saying, and you don't hear Tim disagreeing or really saying anything. He couldn't say shit if he had a mouth full of it. 3 people have admitted to seeing Summer alive that day, besides Candace and Grandis, because we never know where we're going with them. So the woman at the hippie house has said to other creators that she saw her. I did not know about this. Hunter, we heard Allie say that she was in the back seat asleep and windows are rolled up, no air on, and she wanted to give her a hug and was told no, but she saw her. Okay.
Right.
So besides Dawn's crack runs, which not surprised.
That's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
So now what we're left with, because we can't get through all of that, because is anyone surprised that Dawn's going to go pick up crack anywhere or any kind of illicit drugs?
No, I'm not.
And don't ever, I mean, even try to read between the lines. Dawn and Candace are horrible people. Horrible people. And this Tim guy, he's not helping Summer. He's not putting her name out there. If he's the media manager and he's running the website, why aren't you making it all about Summer? All you're doing is trying to defend the people that are responsible for her disappearance.
Yeah, I haven't been on the website, but you know, it's not helping Summer if you're just talking a lot of crap. That's, you know, if you're talking facts, it's one thing, but you know, the website should be promoting, like, how do we find Summer? Does anybody have any ideas? Like, this is what you want on trying to find a little girl.
You keep her missing poster out there. You keep pictures of her out there, pictures that look like her, not
Yes.
pictures of her with longer hair. Justice for Kids said, and I hate Brooks. Why are you here? I would not be in a chat if I hated someone. You don't even know me.
Yeah. Yeah. We're trying to help Summer. We're trying to help the little girl. And, you know, we have come up with the odd bits of information, or we dissect it, and we know what, you know, like even for other people to listen to it. You know, the telephone to me is big. What Jose came out with, what Grandma came out with, or Grandis came out with, like those are all 3 major things, like to try and put the pieces into the puzzle and figure this out. And
Grandis
hopefully
was
somebody
a
else.
big one for me, because that disturbed the entire timeline. Everything from ER to the nap.
The whole story It's like, okay, like if she wasn't there at the watering hole, if she was taking a nap when Candace got home, what did they really do that day? You know, like where was grandma in all this? Why was she even put into the story? But then again, okay, she was put in so Dawn wouldn't get mad. Candace was alone with Hunter and Summer. Okay. My God, you keep going back.
Well, it seems to me that everything that Candace put out there was obviously self-serving and didn't want Dawn to find out.
Yes, I think that totally. Yeah.
I think so too. Well, yesterday, East Coast Mama sent me an email. A friend of hers lives in the same town as Naomi Irian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So I'm going to do a breaking news clip real quick. We're going to discuss this further, and then we're going to start ending the show. Give me just a second.
Year-old Naomi Irion continues out in Fernley. Alexandra Ray has been following this from the beginning. She joined us live at the Terrible's Casino, where the search party gathered this weekend. Alexandra, what can you tell us?
Aaron, like you said, a huge search party was conducted here for Naomi, starting right here just this weekend. Now, she was last seen at the Fernley Walmart parking lot, and that was more than a week ago. Now, hundreds of people did gather right in this area to help join the search party, and the Lyon County Sheriff's Office released a surveillance video of the Walmart parking lot over the weekend. The suspect in the case has been pacing on the east side of the building, and there are other cars in the video. Police are asking anyone that was in the Walmart parking lot between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning of Saturday, March 12th, to contact the Lyon County Sheriff's Office. Irian was waiting in the Walmart parking lot for a shuttle to take her to work when it was believed the man in the video got into her car and drove away with her in it. Family members are still hoping that she's out there somewhere safe.
Every time I look at a picture of my sister, I know that she's still there.
Now, there is going to be a candlelight vigil held tomorrow at the town park here in Fernley at 7 p.m., and anyone is welcome to that and is here to support her family. From the story live in Fernley, Alexandra Ray, 2 News.
All right, so I love when you guys send me other cases and stuff like that you want to talk about. So we put them on here, we mention them. It's got to be shared. This woman outside of Reno, Nevada, was kidnapped from a Walmart. They have the surveillance. It looks like she was in the driver's seat. He got in, forced her to the passenger seat. She hasn't been seen since. So her name is Naomi Irian, Reno, Nevada. So let's get that out there too. We got Amy in the background, backstage. Hello, Amy.
Hi, I'm gonna just get my camera off. I don't look good. You know, I wanted to say I think this whole these people are just red herrings. I really think that I'm just stating my opinion. I think that there's a lot more information that the TBI has, and so does the FBI. And I don't know if you would find this information interesting to you, but they're saying that any agency really can hack into phones. So I don't think they really even with being that they're just, this is my opinion. I'm not a legal expert. With them being persons of interest, I really think that they have everything. I think they've hacked into everything. You know, even on Google, it says that the NSA has an ability to break into phones. They could. There's some leaked documents that shows that they're able to gather SMS messages, contact lists, location data, photos, videos, and more. They said the NSA can even reportedly activate your camera and microphone remotely. So we don't know if they're doing that. If they've been doing this the whole time with the people, they could have somehow been able to gather information from June 15th going forward. So I just think that that's a possibility, Brooks, that they have other information that maybe they're tying up their loose ends, tying up in a bow, you know, their little package to start indictments and get a grand jury going. So that's just my.
That's what I'm
Because I
hoping
just
for.
feel terrible. I feel I just don't know why. I don't, you know what? I'm going to be quite honest with you, Brooks. I don't really care about BK or Tim or Jose. I just think that I know that that this very interesting, but I just think it just takes the focus off Summer. I just don't understand. It's like I just refuse to get swept up in all of that. I don't really believe anything he's saying because of I look at someone's past, what BK has done in the past with other cases, and that's just so he just seems to be so unethical, and I just can't. I don't believe people that are unethical that are not doing the right thing. If he was doing the right thing and he really had something, he would have come out with it already. That you would have come out, you would have told the law enforcement if there was really anything on it. I just, that's how I feel. That's just, none of this makes any sense to me. It does not add up.
Well, no, and
I don't
and
know.
this show isn't about Benny or defending Benny or any other creator because I don't do drama and I don't get into that. That's why when I opened the show, I said, look, this isn't about that. But if there is a phone out there that Dawn gave to Tim, Tim backed up and then gave to Candace, I think it's worth law enforcement looking at. For all I know, they've already gone through it. They have
I
it.
think they've done it. I think they have it. I mean, how would they
It
not have
takes
that?
quite a while for them to get all that stuff back. So it's not like a hour deal where they're like, oh, I've got the phone. That's a lot. I mean, no, it takes a lot to go through them, a long time.
Right.
If you've read other
Right.
arrest affidavits, it takes a long time. So
Right. I just don't understand why these people.
motivations and things like that are, I don't get into that. But whatever can
No.
help Summer, I get into it.
But you know what? I'm just going to say one more thing. For me, like when we're talking, when I hear all these other people that want to provide the content on the case and they talk about the timeline, like for me, I have problems like visualizing it because I'm like a visual person. Like I would need someone to actually go on a whiteboard, draw out a line and show like the times of day and these things particularly happening for me to really totally understand it. You know what I mean? I'm so visual. Like, you know, hearing it is not going to help me. I would need to see like you know, how you have like a number line or whatever. No, I would need something like that to really sort of come up with a conclusion or extrapolate what I may think is the right thing in what happened in this case. So I don't know. That's it. I just think it's so confusing.
You can't even put an Excel spreadsheet together. Stuff changes all the time.
Right, I know, because I'm sure that they're doing that with the law enforcement, but I just don't, the only thing I just don't understand is letting kids live like that. I have a daughter. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's very heartbreaking. And
Well, I mean, let me
I
ask you
don't know.
this. Have you ever looked at TBI's Twitter? Like I said,
Oh, I've gone on there.
I started following it. I don't know if it's Twitter or Facebook, which one I'm on. I can't remember when Evelyn Boswell went missing.
Oh, I've gone on there.
And they have a very fast success rate. I mean, they work cases hard. So something is very deep and dark here.
But do you know what I did? I even a month or so ago, I even called Tennessee's Governor Billy, and also I left a message. I even got someone on the phone at the Attorney General, and I said, you know, this case is really an embarrassment to your state that you let this happen, that your agencies did this to kids. And I said, you really should be following the lead in what they did in the Serenity McKinney case. That's the benchmark of that Attorney General in Kentucky that went and advocated and pushed for something to be done. I don't see any of them, or the politicians, the senators, the U.S. representatives. They're not doing anything. And I think it's very embarrassing for them to not do anything about this case. I think it looks very bad upon Tennessee. So
I think
everybody,
they're not happy either. Serenity's totally different because the parents didn't claim abduction. I say parents, the mother and boyfriend. They kept saying,
but where is
she's with someone else. She's with someone else.
But where is the mention?
But they said, produce the child. When they couldn't, they left and they arrested him. And then they I don't know if they got it out of them or they just old school.
My thing is why hasn't the governor of Tennessee even had a mention of her? This is you know, I don't understand. Why hasn't the Attorney General said, we want to look into CPS, we want to do reforms of these agencies? It's just, to me, it's like they don't care. they just don't care about the what's going on with these agencies. I just don't. I know that it's different, but why no mention?
I
None of
think they
this
should
makes
eject
sense.
themselves too. And I think nothing puts more pressure on TBI, especially a local sheriff, than high political influence coming in and saying, we want some results. We want something done fast. They
Right,
might not
right.
do
Well,
it
that's what I
publicly.
said.
They might not do it publicly. They could do it behind the scenes. I think we have a lag because it sounds to me like you're done talking and then I start talking and then you talk. So I
Well,
apologize.
I'm sorry. You know what? It's like choppy. I'm sorry. The choppiness, I can't hear. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just think that there has to be something that they don't care, that there should be a mention of these cases, that they don't really care. I just think they're just there for a paycheck, and they're not doing anything about the agency that really failed these kids. Um, I don't know. You just got to bump it up. You got these low-lying fruit, the low-lying fruit like Hawkins and maybe the DA. They're just low-lying fruit. They're just there to just do low-level stuff. They're not. If I really think the higher level people need to be putting pressure, or at least the constituents need to do something about these people that they're electing. So. It's not just in Tennessee; it's everywhere else, and it's very disappointing that they haven't said anything, and that's just my opinion. So
Especially
all
after
right.
all this time, it wouldn't hurt to, put something out in the media, contact them unless they have. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But I mean, it's
Right,
been almost 9.5 months. I agree with you. It's time for the governor to say, look, it's been too long. It's been 9.5 months. Something's going to have to happen.
right. So nice talking to you. I just wanted to come on and say that I'm sorry that I might have interrupted. It's just the phone. I can't really hear very well on it. Okay, have a nice day. Enjoy your
No,
Thank
show.
you, Amy.
no, thank you for coming up. I apologize for the lag, everybody,
Okay.
because on my
No,
end,
it's not a
done.
problem.
Okay,
No,
thanks,
have a
hon.
good day.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I hate when that happens. I feel so bad because on my end, no one's talking, but they're still talking. And so to everyone else, it's like we're talking over each other. But, well, guys, it's been a great show. Thanks for going through this with us. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be late. I have some appointments tomorrow morning. So we're going to go through Candace's phone call. Okay. Now, again, this isn't about another creator. It's not about drama. I want to hear what the suspect in a crime has to say. We know she's not going to tell us the truth, but as usual, we sift through it. We sift through
Yeah,
it and figure out what makes sense. What do you think, Pat?
definitely. I
Thank you.
think that's a good idea. We like to hear from Candace to see if the whole story changes again, but maybe you're right. Sprinkles of truth in there. And you know what? I think it's good that we're just keeping Summer's name out there. And Candace is everybody is a suspect. Sorry. So that's what we're focusing on.
Keeping her name out there, and Candace everyone's a suspect, he said.
Right.
Hang on. Crispy K, you talked right over her. I explained there's a lag on my end. I don't know who has what cell service, where they're calling from. So when on my end they've stopped talking and I replied to them and they start talking again, that's what you hear. I was not trying to interrupt her. The hell is in the water today.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, as usual, you are wonderful to have on panel. I love talking to you. Love being your friend. Thank you again for the bracelets. I will see you in Discord in a little bit.
Thank you for having me up, and thank you, chat. And I enjoyed it.
All right. You're the best, Pat. See you in a minute.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for going through that with us. As always, it's so great to have Double Trouble from Canada up here, Deb and Pat. We have the best mods on YouTube. I don't know how in the world you guys keep up and how you keep it just awesome in here. We have the best chat on YouTube. We have the best community on YouTube. We all agree, we can agree to disagree, move on with our day. But the best thing is that we're keeping Summer's name out there. We're keeping Summer's name out there. That's the most important thing. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. I don't know what time yet, but I'll get it figured out because, like I said, I have a couple appointments tomorrow morning. You guys are the best. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.